You need to give praise where praise is due, and it goes out this week for the recent actions by Governor Pat McCrory and Department of Public Safety Secretary Karen Shanahan for their quick action on stopping home leave for murderers, particularly first-degree murderers. If you can believe this, 36 murderers in North Carolina, including over a dozen of whom were first-degree murderers given life sentences, were getting home leave under a program that's been around for several decades that just came to light here in North Carolina, involving releases of inmates. Now, I wrote a column about it, did a video about it, talked to anybody and everybody I could, stood up on the floor of the Senate, shouted it from the rooftops. How in the world, with our state having the hard-fought-for Victims' Rights Amendment to our Constitution, it's part of our constitutional law in North Carolina, that if you are a victim, you have the ability to be notified of the upcoming pending release, or a victim's family, of the person who, in this case, murdered your spouse, father, sister, brother, and we were letting first-degree murderers out on home leave. Now, what was home leave? Well, you got to go home for the weekend, hang out with your family. You're like Scott McQuillan. You could set up your own website. You could play golf. They were actually, a district attorney caught some people that were serving jail sentences out on home leave playing golf. Can you imagine running into the first-degree murder of your child in the drugstore on a Saturday afternoon, in there just shopping, hanging out with their family, when the person who killed your child is standing right there, and of course your child's in the cemetery? I can't fathom why we had that program, but God bless Pat McCrory and Karen Shanahan for the swift action to stop this and to not allow sex offenders, first-degree murderers, all of the others that they cranked down on the program. Now, I understand that when you're getting ready to move, particularly nonviolent people out in the community, it helps to, again, to let them get out and see what the setup is like and some of those kind of things when you're right at your let-out time. I can see that in some instances, but not for sex offenders, not for first-degree murderers, not for people on life sentences. And I thank the governor and the secretary for cranking down on that program and seeing to it. We'll continue to monitor it to make sure it functions right. We'll continue to see that our constitutional requirements, that is, the victims' families are notified on the nonviolent people that get close to their let-out date, are properly notified as our Constitution and our laws require. But to think that this was going on under everyone's noses and nobody knew about it until a DA saw some criminal golfing is just unbelievable. We like to hear from you. If you know of some program that's not working correctly, some craziness that's going on, wasteful spending, you name it, I would love to hear from you. Please always email me, write me, call me. I'm Tom Goolsby, and it's my pleasure to represent the great people of Senate District 9, New Hanover County, Wilmington, Carolina Beach, Curry Beach, and Wrightsville Beach.